Hi everyone, welcome to Ekascloud. Today I'll be creating a virtual network with public and private subnets, and after that I'll be creating two virtual machines with each of those subnets I created, and then I'll try to connect the private IP address or the virtual machine with private IP with the help of the virtual machine which we created with public IP. So let's get started. Before that, I need to create uh, a storage account, sorry, the resource group. And now let's create virtual networks. And here is where I'm going to create the private and public addresses. So that is for public virtual network, and next one is private. And I'm going to delete this default subnet, and then we are not going to make any changes in the security and tags. So let's create the virtual network with those two subnets. Okay, so we created the virtual network. Now let's create a storage account using this virtual network. And in networking, I'm going to select the second option for the connectivity method, which is public endpoint selected networks. And the subscription, no, the virtual network will be Vnet. And here I'll be selecting both public and private Vnets. So that's it on networking when we create storage account. Now we are good to review and create the storage account. So that is also done. Now we can create two virtual machines. The first one will be creating with the help of Windows Server, and the second one will be creating with the Ubuntu server. So let's create the first one. Next, here in disk, I'm going for standard HDD. And networking, this will be public Vnet, and the public IP will be this one, the first option. So the main difference when we create both the virtual machines will be the selection of options here for the subnet and public IP. For the Windows virtual machine, I choose public Vnet subnet and the public IP. Uh, the given public IP for the public IP box. So let's create Windows virtual machine. Okay, let's give some time to complete uh, the deployment for the Windows virtual machine, and in the meantime, let's create a Linux virtual machine. Here the subnet will be private VNet, and the public IP I am going to choose none. Okay, so the Windows VM has been created, so let's try to connect that. So here uh, we need to do some settings change for the IE enhanced security configuration, because we will be accessing Internet Explorer to download PuTTY. So let's download that. Okay, so we downloaded the putty. Let's try to access that. So before trying to access the Linux virtual machine here in the remote desktop, let me show you the error we are getting when we try to access the Linux virtual machine in our local PC, since it has private IP. So this is the IP. Let me try to put in our local PC. See, we are getting a error message, network error, connection timed out. So this will be the message we'll be getting if we are trying to access a private IP uh, in a in our local PC, since it's not connected. Now let's go to our Windows virtual machine, which has the same Vnet as the Linux virtual machine, and let's try to access this there. So this is asking me to log in. Okay, now we need to install the Apache and make sure that it is connecting, or we'll be able to connect that, or we'll be able to access the uh, Apache in this virtual machine, in the Windows virtual machine. Now we need to update this to make sure that everything will be working fine. Okay, now let's try to open the Apache in Internet Explorer using the IP address we have, which is 10.024. So it's working. This is all about how to create subnets, public and private subnets in virtual network, and how to create or how to connect both the virtual machines with the help of virtual network. I hope you like this video. Thank you.